get to know Meg and help Meg get to know herself, to become not just somebody who had the independent living skills to live in the community, but somebody who could move it beyond just individuals, beyond just stories of people doing things differently themselves, and to think about how we make change at the level of the whole area. And that's tricky. We heard a bit about how difficult it is, because when we're working and thinking in an asset-based way, we're thinking about it at a human scale, and yet so much of the change we need feels big and daunting and swirling. So assets are about what individuals can bring, they're about what families do, what communities can do. They are also about the connections between people. It's not just about what I can bring as an individual, it's about my relationships with other people. And actually we also need to take an asset-based approach to our services as well. At the end of the day, our public services are big groups of people. People who have skills and who are self-selected for compassion. Even if we don't always create roles in which people feel that they can be skilled and compassionate. So often we start conversations about asset-based approaches as if there's inherently an opposition between what the state brings, what services can bring, and what people and communities bring. Even though a lot of those services did start, particularly in the voluntary sector, with groups of people trying to make a better life. How can we bridge that gap? How can we bring those different kinds of assets and resources, the assets of our services, of people, of communities, of civil society, how can we bring them together? So you've seen this rainbow of asset-based approaches around the room that Polly and Sophie and colleagues did an amazing job of at Nestor. It's only a few of the examples of asset-based approaches. There are loads out there. If you're really miffed that your approach isn't on there, come and talk to us or to Nestor or Think Local Act Personal, because this is the beginning of building a much bigger picture. And what this tries to do is to show that we can be more than the sum of our parts, that actually there isn't just one or two approaches out there. And what you heard in the fishbowl was not just, as Mixit had it this morning, lots of pilots and nothing taking off. It was about trying to take a whole area approach, trying to do a lot of different approaches. But it can't just be that. It can't just be about investing in promising innovations or in things that we feel work, but with the core of the system trundling on doing what it's always done. So the other thing I just wanted to touch on, and we're going to start to talk about around these boards, is something we are often reluctant to talk about, power. We started to talk about power in the fishbowl, and I thought that was really encouraging. Because if we really trust people, if we trust people not just to take charge of their own individual lives, but actually if we trust that they have expertise that commissioners and leaders don't always have themselves, then actually that's going to be about placing ourselves, if we are leaders of systems, in positions where we don't have the power anymore, or we don't have all the power. And power comes in many forms, just as assets do. So power can be who gets to set the vision for an area, who decides what this area values, what we're all aiming towards. It could be the knowledge that we share or choose not to share. It's the connections that people are able to make, or that we allow people to make between each other and between organisations. It's about being safe, but that's a really loaded term. So people are not empowered when they're in crisis, but equally some of the sanctuaries that we create for people can become their prisons. It's about sharing in resources, in money, and that ultimately means sharing responsibility. And I think that can be the hardest shift of all, is actually being willing to share those responsibilities which councils and the NHS feel like are legally held accountable for. So those are some pretty big questions. What we did with the asset-based area report was to try and break that down into 10 questions, and they've been grouped together into 6 boards because there's some overlap between them. Some of those questions are pretty practical. They start with things like mapping the assets. It's unlikely you're going to be an asset-based area if you don't know what all of those kinds of assets are and where to find them. But they also get into some of those approaches to relocating power, to sharing resources, and starting to think about not just what's happening out there in the community, but what's happening in here in the system, if you're part of that system. How does procurement, for instance, how does financial management think in an asset-based way? So tools like the Social Value Act powers start to bridge that gap between this world of community and the world of public services and how they're financed. It's about local enterprise, it's about what's happening in the private sector, what's happening in civil society, what local businesses are doing, and it gets into some of those thorny ownership questions. Who are we prepared to let own, to let work in, to have employed roles in our services and our areas? And it's recognising that there is an investment needed here, so we're investing £10 million in their communities. None of this is actually free, even if it needs money to move around in very different ways. And how do we all hold each other accountable? How do we measure what we're achieving and what we're not achieving? So what we'd like you to do is to pick 2 of these boards, pick them at random if you want, and we want you to spend 20 minutes on each board. So you're going to get two goes at 2 of these. And we have some questions here. So we have, how do we know it's working and measure positive impact in people's lives? How do we invest in connecting people in and across neighbourhoods? How do we build and invest in communities' capacity, including in volunteering and social action? How do we shape the market and resource and nurture locally rooted community solutions? How do we know what's out there and all the resources available? And how do we share power differently and include more people with lived experience in the workforce? So, without any further ado, please grab a board, and there's a facilitator there who will help you. And before you do that, Dan has one more thing.
Before you do that, just to make it really clear that this isn't just discussion for discussion's sake. We've got Pen in the corner who's taking visual notes of the discussions. And the boards have been set up in a way that we're going to take what you come up with today and share it with both the NCAS conference immediately tomorrow, but we'll also share it with the world via Twitter and as much as possible. So we want to make sure we're tapping into this collective wisdom, and we are committing to sharing it as well. So 20 minutes per board. We'll sound an air horn, which is really annoying, I know, when 20 minutes is gone, but vote with your feet. It's entirely up to you what you guys do with it and what you want to discuss. Does that sound all right? Go for it.
Okay, this bit doesn't lend itself to live streaming, so back again later. Follow the hashtag SocialCareFuture on Twitter, or subscribe to this YouTube channel to find out when we're next live.